What's up, everybody? It's Jack and Dan.
And today, we're going to be growing some sprouts.
Yeah, I mean, sprouts are one of the most healthy foods on the entire planet, right?
Yeah.
They're basically little baby plants. And sprouts have sometimes 5 to 10 times the amount of antioxidants that their adult counterparts have. One of the earliest videos we did almost 4 years ago when we started our channel was how to sprout seeds in a jar, right?
Yep.
It's a lot of fun, it's easy to do. Well, now that we have this big pond here, this whole top area we decided to start trying to sprout on. It's a really simple, easy thing to do. We use seeds from a guy named Todd Seeds. He actually had a really good Labor Day sale, and so sent them right off, mailed them to us. We got a big, huge bag of broccoli sprouts, we got some alfalfa sprouts, and we got some arugula sprouts. And they're really easy seeds. Now, again, a lot of people, you could grow them in dirt, you could grow them in jars. We're gonna grow them on paper towels. And the reason that we like to grow them on paper towels is because it's a lot cleaner, first of all. They don't really require any type of dirt. And show them this little guy for about 25 cents at Mark's. We brought this little spray bottle. We can dunk that in our pond and fill it up and give them all this wonderful kind of, pond water, which is gonna have some nitrates and things in it, and spray them a couple times a day. Now what we're doing is we're going into the evening, and they do tend to sprout. It's better to germinate them in the dark. So we're gonna start them now so that they can germinate overnight. And in about 7 to 10 days, we're gonna have some huge sprouts. You can pull them off the paper towel. You can eat them on sandwiches and salads and wonderful things like that. And you can grow new ones. So we're gonna show you how to do it. The reason that we used bamboo is because it's one of the most renewable things on planet Earth, right?
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people say, hey, that bamboo stuff's pretty expensive, but if you sign up for CVS's email list, they send us a 40% off coupon every week, don't they?
Yep.
We got this instead of for 10 bucks, 40% off, got it for $6, that's $1 a roll. This will probably last us several years of sprouts, right? So very inexpensive to do. These seeds cost us about 20 bucks. This costs us about $6. That costs us a quarter, and we're gonna be able to make hundreds of dollars worth of sprouts for that. We're gonna show you how. All right, Jeff's gonna show you. We're just gonna basically use our pond water. Again, the way that we're gonna do a lot of these foods that we're gonna be growing in here, we're gonna water them off of this and then top the pond off, since it happens to be in our little in-law suite area, and we have basically a tube hooked up right there. So yeah, I mean, this little guy is like 25 cents. Obviously, we will, after we spray the sprout, there you go, look at that. That's literally 25 cents on the clearance rack at Mark's, right? So we're gonna fill it up, we'll spray them, and super easy to do. Now, if you've never done sprouting, again, you can do it in jars, and we will put a link in the description about how we did that. You can buy sprouting seeds from so many places. We like Todd Seeds, and of course, these are non-GMO, chemical-free, all that. Really good stuff. If you have not ever done sprouting, they come with a little QR code. You can just scan that and they'll show you how to do it. He has really, really good stuff. So this is 1 pound of arugula. Arugula is very good, of course, very high in antioxidants, has a great little taste. The reason that you want to sprout some different things is you want a different taste. Of course, you can get hot stuff too. You get like mustard sprouts. I'm not real crazy about those. You like some of the spicy stuff though. Yeah. You can also get mixtures of sprouts where he'll give you, 4 or 5 seeds together. But we just we've done quite a few videos on, like a big Dr. Prager's burger or a Gardein burger or a black bean burger. We just take a handful of sprouts and throw it on there. And it's a great way to get, 4 or 5 servings of vegetables for really inexpensive. If you went and bought a cup or 2 of sprouts, you would spend a few bucks. It's gonna only cost you a few pennies to grow them yourself. So this is the broccoli sprouts, again, very high in an antioxidant called sulforaphane, as all cruciferous vegetables are. Amazing, amazing, super healthy. For 10 bucks, it would cost you literally 1,000 to buy that many sprouts that you're gonna be able to grow. So this is like 1/100th of the cost, all right? So there we go, and then we have the alfalfa, which everybody knows. So we're gonna kind of take these down, and what we're gonna do is we've already kind of wiped this off, just kind of wiped it off with water and paper towels and stuff. we're gonna lay some paper towels down and we're gonna put the seeds down and show you how we're gonna do this. All right, so like any paper towels, as you hose them down, they're gonna kind of expand a little bit. You wanna get them nice and wet so that they lay nice and flat. You don't really want a pool of water, but you want them to be nice and damp so the seeds stick to them. Now, as you get them wet, as you can see, they kind of expand a little bit. That's why you put them kind of apart. So you want to kind of open them up a little bit. Again, the reason that it's really nice to do this is because you then don't basically have to deal with the dirt. The other thing is the sprouts will lift pretty easily off of the paper towel, and you can eat the whole root, which of course is very healthy too. Whereas if it's like in dirt, it can be difficult to, you know, deal with all that rinsing and everything. Here, you can just pick it up. And the nice part too is because these are bamboo and they're all natural, if you eat part of the towel, it's not gonna hurt you in any way. So that's kind of nice. And again, the reason that we like bamboo is because it is so renewable. It grows at an unbelievable rate. It's one of the reasons we use it in our aquariums. You can see there's a piece of bamboo coming out of Wade's tank here. I mean, this thing has just crushed. We bought this thing for literally a couple dollars and it was tiny. And it just keeps growing. Sorry, my hand threw it out of focus. Just keeps growing out of the top here and just doing awesome. We've had that in there ever since it was Kep's tank, and it's just doing amazing. Very inexpensive, very renewable. So Jack's spraying all these down. We're gonna spread them out real good. And there is a light here. We talked about that a little bit in the last video we did on this pond. There are lights here, but the sun is actually setting, so this is when you want to do this because you do want them in the dark to germinate. They do germinate better in the dark. And so what will happen is during the night here, they'll germinate. Tomorrow morning, the sun will come in here. And also, if we get those rainy, cloudy, or snowy days, that's why we set this light up the way that we did. While I'm working over here, I'll just simply turn it on so that everything gets blasted with extra light. And of course, we have the turtle lights here, which will hit a lot of things too. Okay, so the way that it's recommended that you do this is that there's about 21 seeds per square inch, which basically means you pretty much cover it. I mean, a square inch is pretty small for 21 seeds. So we're just gonna sprinkle. The way we're gonna do this is we're gonna do like 2 of the broccoli sprouts, 2 of the alfalfa sprouts, and 2 of the arugula sprouts. So we're just gonna spread them all over here. We're gonna make them nice and dense. We're gonna spray them down again a little bit. We're gonna turn off the lights, and then we'll come back every couple of days and show you how they're doing. All right, so there we go. Jack tried a little experiment. He's gonna go a little less dense on this one, a little more dense on this one. Just kind of see what happens. These are the broccoli sprouts. They're a little bigger than the other ones. These are the alfalfa sprouts. They're a little more fine. We put them a little closer together. And these are the watercress, and they're pretty small too. We've actually never tried, or I'm sorry, not watercress, arugula. We've never tried arugula sprouts, so I'm kind of anxious to see. Those are supposed to taste a little bit different. So Jack's gonna kind of hose them all down one more time here. And again, we're gonna go ahead and turn this light off. Again, you're gonna mist them to where they're soaked, but you don't want the water to pool. Now, a lot of people use trays or different things like that. They do have growing pads that you can use, but quite honestly, using the paper towels is a lot cheaper. So I think this is gonna be really neat and really awesome. And we're still gonna allow some light to go through the top, but honestly, from what we've noticed, especially in the wintertime, when the sun is down, the light primarily shines through the pond. So the other thing we forgot to mention is these do seal. So you just keep them in a cool, dark place. You can put them in a cabinet, in a pantry or something like that. But honestly, we only put about a tablespoon or so on each one of these towels just to let you know how long this will last. The cost of doing this yourself is tremendously cheap. And the other thing we're trying to do is we're trying to spray from the top. We don't want to spray, obviously, the side and get it all messed up. So that was pretty easy. I mean, prep time, super easy and awesome. We're going to come back every couple of days and we're going to show you the progress and stuff like that. And if you've never tried anything like this, I think after seeing how easy it is and how inexpensive it is, it might be something that you may want to try. All right, we're going to turn off the lights now. And the sun will go down pretty soon here. And these guys will be dark. And we'll check them in the morning. All right, this is 24 hours, guys, since the sprouts started. Just turn the lights on to check on them and give them another mist here. Just fill this thing up again. You just give them a few shots like that. you can see that some of these guys have already started to pop open. These over here, if I can get close enough here, you can see these guys already got some tails and stuff on them. See that? They're already starting to sprout. 24 hours. See these guys already popping open? These ones in particular. I'm going to spread these guys out a little more here. They're pretty close together. But yeah. So yeah, 24 hours, that's what you should start to see. A little bit of those guys popping open, some of the tails shooting open. And that's it. So we'll check on them again here in a few days and we'll kind of see what happens. Okay, about 4 days in here, guys, and you can see some of these broccoli sprouts are now starting to sprout right there. Some of these other ones are starting to sprout. The alfalfa are starting to get little tails on them here. And this arugula is really starting to grow a lot here. You can see these tails. I'll try to zoom in there. See that? You can even see some green on them and stuff too. So that's pretty normal. About 4 days or so. Kind of zoomed in there. But it takes about 7 to 10 days. So we're about 4 days in. And we'll follow up in another couple of days, see what's going on. All right, so Jack's giving them a little spray here. We're at day number 6, and as you can see, they're really starting to get green. These broccoli sprouts, I'm going to get more of a close-up here. This is what they do. And just yesterday, they were just starting to break, and all of a sudden today, they're green, and they're growing tails, and they're doing awesome. You can see over here, now these alfalfa sprouts are being a little stubborn. Some of them got some tails, but not so much. And some of them do take different times. With these arugula ones, man, these guys are crushing, huh?
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at that, man, huh? Nice and green, and it's almost like you can see that they're kind of folded over. So they'll kind of like unfold, and they'll stand up straight. So that'll be in a couple of days. But yeah, just hosing them down in the morning, about 5 or 10 shots, keeping the towel wet. And here's one of the things that Jack noticed over here when the sun was hitting this. He goes, hey, look at this. Some of these seeds, we must have dropped a couple. Maybe they got taken into the filter. But look at this. Got these tiny little sprouts. Now these guys, they might be broccoli. We're not sure what they are. There's one there. It's kind of weird because there's 3. There's one on either side, and there's one in the middle. There's another one. Oh, there it is right there. Kind of hard to see under the water. So there's like 3 of them in there. So I doubt that they fell in there. I bet you they fell into the pond. They got sucked into the filter, went up into the intake, and got caught into the thing. It doesn't really matter if sprouts grow in the filter. It's just that when we ultimately go to clean it, they're going to be, we're going to have to like take them out.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, just because it's a filter doesn't mean that water is really any different than this water. So if a bunch of sprouts start to grow in here, we'll let them grow. They'll just help to filter the pond. And ultimately, we'll take them out and rinse them off and eat them. There's not really any difference between being in a pond filter or being in the ground outside where the wild animals go to the bathroom and everything, right?
Yeah.
People don't think about it, but ultimately, it's really the same thing. So, yeah, it's great fertilizer. So you can see how much faster those sprouts grew in the filter, and we didn't even notice those 2 other days. So here we go, guys. We're going to check back in a couple days to see if these alfalfa guys go. But these guys are really taking off. And probably in another 4 or 5 days, they'll be ready to eat. So we'll show you that, and we'll show you how we're going to eat them. Okay, just doing a quick follow-up on my lunch break today. I really love how the sun comes in here. I wanted to show this. When the sun comes in here, these guys see me. They come up here like this. Isn't that cool how the sun reflects through the tank like that? Super neat, huh? The fish were actually up in there. Oh, there's one. They've been coming up in here more often. But anyway, wanted to do a quick follow-up here. So these guys are doing really awesome. These arugula ones are just crushing it. So they're almost taking over the whole thing, and probably in about another 4 or 5 days will be nice and big and edible. These alfalfa sprouts finally started to grow tails and are starting to really sprout. Apparently they just really need a lot more water. So just kind of putting a little more water on those middle ones. I don't know if because they're in the middle, they're drying out more or something, but they are finally starting to sprout. The broccoli are doing awesome. So they do kind of turn yellow first. You could see there, and then they start to turn green. So this one was doing really good. So these guys, probably about another week or so. So we're about 7 days in. Again, 10 to 14 days total. and you've got yourself a bunch of sprouts. These kind of just sat, so these are going to take a few extra days because we just realized we had to really add more water. So I'm kind of spraying in the morning, afternoon, and at night. But yeah, I'm really excited about these. Never tried arugula sprouts before. Look how tasty those look, man. Look at that close up. Gonna smash these. These will probably be ready in a few days. So we'll definitely make some. We're either just gonna eat them plain or put them on some black bean burgers or something, but we'll show you guys. All right, guys, so Jack's putting on the evening spray to these guys. This is at about day 9, and as you can see, they're doing fantastic. One of the things that we saw here is we weren't really spraying them enough, so we started spraying them more. Look at these arugula ones, guys. These guys, in another couple of days, are gonna be ready to eat. Probably eat them now, but we're gonna let them get a little bit bigger. These broccoli ones are doing fantastic as well, coming up good. Now these alfalfa sprouts were off to a slow start, and we basically, for some reason, because they were in the middle, maybe they were getting more light, they were just kind of dry, so we started really spraying them. So in another couple of days, they'll be good too. We're gonna let these go to about the 2-week mark, and at that point in time, basically what we can do is we'll kind of show you guys how we clean them. Now we can put these in like a Tupperware container or a bag in the fridge, and they're good for about a week or so in the fridge, right?
Yeah.
When you buy sprouts and that. So you can also freeze them and put them in smoothies. So we're gonna kind of show you how we do all that. So Jack's kind of hitting them all up. These guys are doing fantastic. There's Kame, she's coming inside. Oh, there's Larry right behind her. The fish are doing fantastic in here. Just a little follow-up on those guys. We'll continue to follow up on them. The other thing that I started doing, because we've had some cloudy and gloomy days, is I really started leaving this light on while I work. Again, these are just LED bulbs, but that seems to have helped them grow a little bit more too. And these sprouts over here are really doing well. Now alfalfa will get pretty huge. So I don't know how far this is gonna go before we have to clean it, but if more fall in there, like I said, I'm not really worried about that. Anyway, that's a great little follow-up. Again, this is the first time we're kind of sprouting them this way. We had done it in the past in jars. So for first time, we're pretty impressed. I think they're gonna be delicious. All right, Jack's just finishing up spraying these guys. This is about day 10. We just want to do an update. Again, we probably weren't giving them quite enough light. We probably weren't giving them enough water. These alfalfa sprouts are really starting to take off now. They're a little bit behind these guys. These arugula we could probably eat now, but we're gonna let them go about another 3 or 4 days maybe, until about Wednesday or Thursday. It is Sunday now. And these guys will probably be nice and ready by then. And these broccoli sprouts are almost ready. But again, we're gonna let them go a couple more days. You don't wanna let them go too long. 2 weeks is probably about the maximum, which we're gonna come up on here. Again, we learned a lot through this, so we're gonna check back and just kind of see in about 4 more days how they're looking and probably eat them. Just want to kind of show you guys the evolution along the way here. Very easy, very cheap, very simple to do. It has been pretty gloomy, so we've been leaving, you can see right there in the reflection, we've been leaving the light on here in this room. And we just kind of turn it off at night, just like all the other fish lights and stuff. All right, guys, so here's the deal. Gloomy, rainy day. It's actually my lunch break right now. It looks like it's nighttime out there, but it's not. And Jack's obviously at school right now because it's the middle of the day. And I started noticing these guys were doing so good. It's actually kind of hitting like the 12-day mark, and some of them are starting to rot a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually harvest these broccoli and arugula sprouts, which means I'm basically gonna take them up off of here, put them in a strainer, rinse them off real good, kind of put them on a paper towel to dry them off a little bit, and then I'm gonna put them in a Ziploc bag, and then they'll be good in the fridge for a few days. These guys I'm gonna let go about another day or so, and he really wanted to do that, so he's gonna do those. So in the video, we will show Jack kind of doing that and getting them ready, and then we'll show you how we're gonna eat these guys. All right, guys, so basically what I did is I rinsed them in the old strainer here, and a lot of the paper towel just disintegrated, and most of the roots took it over. I'm gonna show some close-ups here. Basically, this is what happens to the paper towel. It just becomes roots, and it just disintegrates. So some of it you rinse off. You see these are nice and green. These look really good. These are the arugula sprouts. The broccoli sprouts, I don't know. They were pretty slimy, and I didn't want to chance it. When I started rinsing them off, they start falling apart pretty good. So those I tossed. Again, this is the first time we're doing this, kind of a learning experience. We used to sprout them in jars, and we're trying a new thing. These, however, came out pretty good. I'm going to try some here on camera. So these are the nice green ones here. You can see they got a nice body to them, a little bit of roots on the bottom. I'm going to take a pretty good mouthful here. You hear a crunch? Those are good. I've never had arugula sprouts before. They got a little bit of heat. They got a little bit of the heat at the end there. A little bit of a warmth, almost like a radish. Kind of tastes like a radish a little bit or something. Those are pretty cool. So what I'm going to do with these turned out real good. I rinsed them. I'm going to let them dry a little bit here on a towel. And then I'm going to pop them in one of these kind of bags and put them in the fridge. And I'll probably eat them tomorrow or the next day with Jack. The alfalfa ones are doing good. I'm going to water those a little bit. And he's going to go ahead and harvest those. He wanted to do those. He'll do them tomorrow probably or later tonight. And we'll make a video of that. And like I said, you can make a salad with these. You could put some dressing. We'll kind of show you a couple different things that you can do with them. Here, well, it'll be a minute for you guys, but it'll be a day or two for us. These are pretty good, though. These were a surprise. I'm kind of surprised. I didn't expect them to have any heat like that. More of like a radish kind of thing. So pretty awesome. Definitely going to have more of these. We'll see you guys in a minute. All right, so here we go. It's been about 2 weeks now. Basically what I did is I just ended up eating the other sprouts for lunches and stuff like that because I didn't really want them to go bad. But Jack really wanted to kind of harvest these alfalfa sprouts that started a little later than the other ones. We weren't really giving them enough water and stuff. He wanted to kind of check them out and everything. So I'm going to turn this camera around. The thing is if the paper towels are dry, they'll obviously stick like some of these other ones did. Again, we're going to kind of clean this whole thing off and try this all again. This is the first time. Not bad for a first time. We usually have done them in jars, like we said, and I will put a link in the description about that. That's a really easy way to do it. We're just kind of trying this for the first time. It went fairly well, though, for our first time trying it, and we will continue to try to experiment with it and grow them. But we got some Hungry Planet plant-based burgers going on the stove and some hash browns and things like that. We're going to take these guys right here. We're going to clip them off and take them in there. So let's check it out. All right, so here's what he's doing. He's basically just taking them all off like that. One big glop, right? And they do kind of stick together. The roots really kind of net together in there. And again, we don't really want to drop them in the water. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go through them and we're going to clip them. One of the things that I kind of told him is, you said you were not interested in eating the roots.
No.
Because I tried the roots. The roots were a little chewy. I'm not going to lie. So I'm probably not going to do that again. I wanted to try them because I never tried them before that way. But they were a little chewy. We're going to kind of clip them off with scissors and rinse them off. And kind of the roots and the paper will go in the compost. And we're just going to eat the actual sprouty part on the top. So let's go check them out. Okay, so these guys are separating from the paper pretty easily. As you can see, you're just basically pulling off the paper. And so they don't have as many roots as like the arugula did and stuff like that. So they're actually coming off. We don't really have to cut them that much. See how they're coming off like that, dude? Just kind of slowly separating them from the paper and that. So that's pretty easy. It only takes a couple minutes. So, and then if something sticks, of course, like this one here is kind of sticking. So you just kind of cut that one. Again, it's not that hard to do. There's just thousands of them here, All right, so Jack's separating these pretty easily. Again, if you do wet the paper first, it does seem to separate pretty easily, right?
Yeah. What are these little brown things?
So these little brown specks that you see are actually the seed itself. They're like the shell of the seed or the husk of the seed. You can eat it. A lot of it is going to get rinsed out when we rinse them in the strainer. Some people don't like them. You're really not going to notice them, especially alfalfa ones, because they're pretty small and soft. But some of the other ones you may. Again, for the first time we've ever done it this way, sprouting microgreens instead of like in a jar, I'm pretty impressed at how many we got. Again, the arugula ones were a little spicy. These aren't usually spicy. The broccoli ones also have a little bit of spice to them. Again, I'm a person who really doesn't like anything spicy. So for me, these are going to be more of what I'm used to. The other thing is I think if you let them grow longer, they're less spicy. If you eat them younger, they're more spicy. But that depends on what you're sprouting too. So yeah, we're going to finish this up, rinse these guys off, and then we're just going to kind of lay them out on this towel here, let them dry a little bit. And we're cooking some of our Hungry Planet burgers. We have some angelic Bakehouse sprouted hamburger buns or burger buns. Those are awesome. You guys know we're affiliates with Angelic, and we get all kind of wraps and pizza crusts and buns and bread and everything like that from them. They're super awesome. Honestly, they have better coupon codes if you buy in bulk than even our discount gives you. I just got recently a whole, I'll just show you here. I mean, I got a whole bunch of like wraps, breads, pizza crusts. Here's the pizza crust here. Whoops, there goes something. And basically, they had a huge deal for the end of summer. Spend 70 bucks, get 20 bucks off. So it's 50 bucks, and we got bread and everything for like probably lasts a couple months. So these guys are cooking up in here. We will put links though for Hungry Planet. They are one of the few plant-based meats that actually do taste like meat if you're trying to transition over into trying something more plant-based, but they don't have any cholesterol, saturated fat like Beyond and Impossible in those. They use sunflower oil, which isn't really omega-3s, but we do put a little flaxseed oil in there to add omega-3s. Plus the sprouts have omega-3s, plus these a lot of times have flax seeds in them and things like that. We are cooking up some tots here in the old toaster oven, air fryer. So we're gonna have some tots, we're gonna have some burgers, put some good toppings on there, and I think you got all the good stuff. So we're gonna rinse these out real good, and these are gonna make an awesome burger, man. Okay guys, so we're just rinsing this out. They do get quite consolidated. Jack was like, wow, they got small. They basically just stick together and they get consolidated. So we're just gonna give them a good rinsing, and then we're gonna kind of spread them out. And as you can see, a lot of these little brown caps and seed pieces kind of go through the strainer. But these are nice and firm and crunchy. You can tell they're pretty firm when you're kind of working. You don't want to like smash them. They're really good on a burger or, you know, chicken sandwich or a salad. Probably the remainder that is left over, I'm just going to go ahead and eat with some dressing on it. You can put any kind of vinegar on these. You can put, you know, some flaxseed oil, which you always recommend because it has omega-3s. We're going to go ahead and use Trader Joe's new vegan dill dressing. That's amazing. So we're going to put that on these actually. So that'll be really good. Okay, Jack's going to do the old sprouts and pickles and ketchup kind of situation. I am going to put this on. I'm going to take these burgers, which are almost done, by the way. We kind of like to not necessarily burn them, but brown them a little bit in the flaxseed oil a little bit. Just kind of cook them on low for a long period of time. I'm going to take these sprouts, put them on top, and I'm going to put this. If you guys have never seen this, Trader Joe's now has several vegan dressings. This is probably mine, and you got a couple tots already there, huh? This is probably mine and Pamela's most favorite one. Would you say we go through one of these a week? Yeah, probably.
You guys like that. I'm not too fond of it, but
it's
you know, you like it.
Oh, it's so good. It's cauliflower, almond butter, garlic, lemon juice, herbs, and shallots. I will tell you, this stuff is absolutely unbelievable. 2 tablespoons only has 120 of sodium, which is pretty low compared to most dressings. Only 1 gram of carbs and about 1 gram of protein, and there's no added sugar. It's really amazing, and there's all of the fat basically comes unsaturated. So, you know, from the almonds and stuff. This stuff is so good. If you have not tried this, they're about $3 at Trader Joe's. They have about 3 different kinds, but the dill is definitely one of our favorites. I'm going to take this and just kind of douse this right over top of my burger, right on top of my sprouts. Can't wait to try this. Okay, so we've got 6 big bunches of sprouts here. Again, this is going to be a lot more dense. When you buy them in a store, they're going to be like really separated. They're not going to be like this crowded together. So again, if you went to a store, it would be $1 or $2 per bunch like this. If you bought, you know, a little container, it'd probably be $3 or $4, especially organic like this. And we were able to grow these 6 bunches instead of for, you know, $2 a piece. This would be $12 at a store. We grew it for about 5 cents. Okay, so very inexpensive, awesome way to get more greens and veggies and antioxidants. So we separate them like this because I'm actually going to take one of these whole things and just throw it right on one of my burgers. Normally we would have a slice of tomato, but we totally forgot to get some. And Jack's going to try some. Again, you could just put them in a bowl. You could put some vinegar, some onions, some tomatoes, you know, however you want to have it. Olives, whatever you want to do, pickles. And we're going to get our stuff ready here. Our burgers are almost done. And we just flipped them, and they're looking good. I'm going to put these buns in here for a minute to kind of toast them up. And we're having some, again, Trader Joe's little tots. So we're going to take those out. They're about done, and we're going to set this all down and see what it's all like. Okay, look at those wonderful sprouted breads. So Jack was kind of asking me, and we talked about this in past videos, but when they sprout grains to make bread and things out of them, you can kind of see all those little husks and stuff in there. That's what's happening, is they're taking the wheat and the amaranth and the millet and the spelt and all the different grains that they make, and they're basically sprouting it. Now, they're not sprouting it so that it turns into something like a plant, but it's only being sprouted for a couple of days. And what that does is it lowers the carbs, increases the protein and fiber, and also the antioxidants, because basically you're eating a tiny little baby plant. So that's one of the reasons when we eat things like breads and pastas and cereals and pizza crusts and wraps, we get the sprouted bread. And again, if you've never heard of Angelic Bakehouse, they are amazing, and we highly recommend them. They make all kind of things, and they do it with 7 grains. And they are not gluten-free, but most people who have gluten issues do find that if they're sprouted, and because only like 2 of these 7 grains actually have gluten, they don't have any problem with them. Remember, Mickey had a gluten intolerance, and they didn't bother him at all. He ate these all the time with us. Yeah. Now, these do have quite a bit of sodium, like most, because they're, you know, if you don't keep them refrigerated, they will go bad sooner. But we get the low sodium. They don't make the buns in low sodium, and Jack just wanted to try the buns. But when we get the wraps and all these kind of things and the bread, they actually have a bread that has no sodium at all added. So there's only 25 milligrams of sodium, and that's just naturally occurring in some foods, in plants and things like that. But a whole slice of bread has, 25 instead of 250. They make wraps, they make all kinds of things. So again, if you're trying to reduce your sodium and keep it really low, like we are always trying to do, then of course we really recommend trying to go with the no sodium or low sodium, because that's awesome. That makes up for some of the sodium that's in, some of these other things. We're going to put these in here for about a minute or two and let them get toasty, and then we're going to make some amazing big old burgers here. Okay, guys, wow, look at that. So I got my sprouts mountained on. It's a lot more sprouts than you think it is when it's on a sandwich like that, right? So big mountain of sprouts. I got my dill vegan dressing on there. Gonna close those up. Just want to kind of show you what it looked like without the bun on there. Wow, look at that, for just a few pennies. It would cost $1 or $2 per burger to put that many sprouts on there. It costs a couple pennies. So I'm gonna have mine like that. There's there. Now here's what Jack's got. Jack's trying not as many sprouts as me, but he's got the sprouts. He's got the pickles on this one, a little bit of ketchup on those. We're gonna go have a little taste test here and see what this is like. And then we have 3 left over for Pamela. She's working late, and she's gonna come home and probably finish those. And again, for pennies, literally pennies. All right, guys, I tore in half of my first one here. These are so good. These are the kind of sprouts most people like. Very mild. They don't have any kind of really taste to them. They're just crunchy. How do you like it? Oh, you just took a huge bite, huh? Yeah. So you're kind of going back and forth. You're kind of double fisting back and forth, pickles, and then this one. What do you think of these alfalfa sprouts? I mean, I know I ate all the other sprouts because, like I said, you were busy and you were doing stuff with your mom and you had plans, and I didn't want them to go bad, and I ate them. The arugula ones were a little on the hot side for me. These don't have any kind of heat, right?
Yeah. It just tastes like a crunchy thing of lettuce.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little shredded lettuce or something, but way more antioxidants than lettuce has. Yeah. And we grew them right on top of our fish tank for very, very, very cheap, which is unbelievable. Very easy to do. Again, guys, these are super, super, super charged. It's like eating, 10 times the amount of vegetables of its adult counterpart. That's how incredibly healthy sprouts are. We're going to put links in the description for all this kind of stuff. Todd seeds, where we got them from, all that kind of stuff. The angels are over here looking at us. Look, they're all mad. They're like, where the heck is ours, man? Yeah, they like watching us eat. They're getting big. We'll be doing follow-ups on them. We also have a big follow-up coming up with the Green Lantern tank and all that kind of stuff. And we got a whole bunch of stuff for the Green Lantern tank. We're going to be doing that. So maybe we'll start growing more plants on some of our other tanks and sprouts, because I'll tell you, this is absolutely delicious, and it's so easy to do, and it's absolutely delicious to add to something like a burger or a chicken or any kind of sandwich. If you're making like a turkey sandwich or something, and of course you can get, vegan substitutes and stuff like that. But, hey, I'm always proud of you, kiddo, because you try healthy things and you try different things. A lot of kids your age would be like, nah, I just want pizza and stuff, right? So I'm glad that you try these things, and it sets a great example. So for other kids out there that may be watching our channel, you know, don't be afraid to try new things. They're not really that different as what you think. These are kind of like just crunchy little noodles, right?
Yeah, they had a nice crunch. Yeah.
Totally awesome. Well, guys, thanks so much for watching. Check out some sprouts. Try to grow some sprouts. If you do a video on it. Let us know how it works out for you. And we'll see you next time, guys, right?
Bye-bye.